1971. In 1972, an ice cream social and brat fry became the main fundraiser. And now we have some pictures of the Ladies' Aid. We had a picture from 1963, 1988, 2007, and then lastly, 2009. And Ruth Ann was a member of the Ladies' Aid when it discontinued in 2009. Worshiping, working, and serving together was the goal of the group for 57 years. After a decline in membership down to 3 ladies, officially disbanded August 12, 2009. The congregation then formed a service committee, which has continued on organizing the annual brat drive as a fundraiser, and it's held the second Wednesday in May each year. This isn't the most recent picture, but you can recognize many people. And I recognize 2 of our faithful friars from years ago, Carl Culp and Alvin Cook, way down on the bottom, and then the others also. The service committee volunteers their time and talents whenever and wherever needed within the church function. Now we address our choir.
No, fast forward.
This is a picture of the choir from 1963, our 100th anniversary. Then we move on to a picture of the choir in 1988, and then another picture in 2013. And we thank the choir today for singing that anthem we had, and this is a picture Pastor Patrick took of our choir most recently. Now we'd like to recognize Randy and Cindy Sohn. They wear many hats as members of St. James. Randy has been our organist since 1984. Cindy has directed our choir and then the accompanists since 2002. Together they beautify our church with decorations for all seasons and special services. And as janitors, they clean the church and take care of many things most of us are never aware of. And we thank you. Now we move on to Sunday school. We have a Christian Board of Education and are an appreciation to all our Sunday school teachers, present and past, and the many volunteers that assist. And they're dedicated to the education of our children. As Jesus said, "Let the little children come unto me." All generations together make us a strong church family. And you saw previous the picture of the Sunday school. I don't know what year that was, but we had a big group at that time. And then we have pictures of the Tonchan Choir, and there was a youth band also at one time. Then we have a picture of our Christmas program, December of 2022, and we have a couple of pictures from that. And I believe our program was choreographed and written by Emma Russert. So some nice pictures. And then we have our Youth of Today, and this was taken on Mother's Day of 2023. So we have some Sunday school children, and we have some of our nursery children also. And this is a chair that several years ago, the rocking chair, was painted with handprints by some of the Sunday school children, and that is in the hallway outside of the parent room. Let's talk a little bit about Vacation Bible School. And I'm going back in time. In the earlier years, Vacation Bible School was held in the church basement, which at that time had a dirt floor, and sometimes the floor was muddy after a rain. In 1950, the barn was torn down, and in 1952, a new shed was built, and Vacation Bible School was held in the shed, laid out as a classroom with desks similar to a one-room schoolhouse. Reverend Schmall was the only teacher for all 8 grades. In my era, Vacation Bible School was held for 2 weeks, all day. We did Bible study, played baseball at noon and recess, and and we also made some crafts. We carried our own lunch. We didn't have water bottles or coolers or hand sanitizers. We got water from the outside pump, and there were 2 outhouses, one for the boys and one for the girls. And this is what they look back and call the good old days. After the passing of Reverend Schmall in 1959 and the addition to the church, there were also many changes in Vacation Bible School. There were volunteer teachers to assist teaching classes along with the pastor. Classes were spread out, being held between the church basement and the shed. Bible school was for 1 week in half days. In later years, the time frame and the structure saw many changes. St. Mark's later on joined the St. James children and attended Vacation Bible School together at St. James. And one year they actually did some camping on the church grounds. In this ever-changing world, it is hard to schedule time for Vacation Bible School and having enough children to attend. Children of today have so many opportunities of activities during their summer break. There are summer school classes, swimming lessons, 4-H camp, Boy Scout, Girl Scout camps, music camps, sport camps, and such as volleyball, basketball, soccer, and football, plus family vacations. Our children belong to different school districts with different summer schedules and events. This is a picture of Vacation Bible School that was held at St. Mark's in 2021, and it was conducted by Pastor Patrick and volunteers. Pastor Patrick had scheduled a Vacation Bible School this year, but had to cancel because there were not enough children to attend. Now we move on to our youth fellowship history. I'm not sure when it was established, but there's documentation back to 1939. And then in 1949, there was a 3-act comedy play, Special Delivery, and it was held at Coolins Hall in Edwards. Some of you may remember where Coolins was. It was torn down several years ago, or many, many years ago. Anyway, way back when, there were 2 members of our congregation that were involved with the play at that time, and they were Ellen Lorfel Surface. She was on finance, and Frederick Krause was on publicity. The volleyball league started sometime in 1950. I joined the youth fellowship after confirmation and started to play volleyball in 1956. Reverend Hipschman was our pastor at that time. In the 70s and 80s, there were advisors for the youth, one from St. James, one from St. Mark's. Randy Sohn was the advisor for St. James during that era. The youth were very active in that time frame. October was a Halloween party. November, the youth did a senior citizens get-together. In December, the youth did a sock hop at an elementary school, and other churches were invited. In January, the minister did a retreat at Fisherman's House in Sheboygan, and that was an overnighter on Friday and Saturday night, and then the youth did the Sunday morning service. In March was a chili dinner, and that started in 1967. In April, they did an Easter egg hunt for the Sunday school children, and May was a car wash. And a few years in the summer, they also did a bike ride excursion, and they rode all the way to Devil's River in Manitowoc County. They spent 3 days there, set up tents, did some scripture activities, almost like a small Bible school, and did outdoor cooking. At the end of the camp, people picked them up. They didn't have to bike home.
We slept here. We slept here that night.
What was that?
We got stormed out, so we slept on the
Oh,
floor.
did you?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't remember who all attended that. Okay. Anything else to share, Mark?
No, I'm not gonna share nothing.
Okay. June through August is volleyball season, and we have been blessed over the years to have volunteers coach our teams. I do not have the names of everyone. However, I'd like to give credit to Randy Sohn, Val Spindler. Clarence and Heidi Bayless started coaching around 2003 until 2014, and then Bill Heckman took over in 2015 and still is our present coach. His children, Caroline and Thomas, have assisted him after they reached the age of 21. Pastor Kesting was very active with the Youth Fellowship from 1989 until his retirement in 2017. Today, our youth are as very energetic as the youth of yesterday. They continue to hold the annual fundraising chili dinner and are part of the church volleyball league. This year, St. Mark's and St. James took first place in the league for the season and won the championship game in the tournament. And within the last 2 years, Brenda Schultz has started to meet up with a high school group of students. And this is some of their activities. And several of them went to a trip to Ohio this past summer. You can tell I'm talking too much. And we are so lucky to have this fun-loving group of students within our community sharing their talents and ideas and following with the tradition of the next generations. Mission Fest and mission trips. We've had Mission Fest for many, many years, and all of the income has always gone to worthwhile causes, to people who are in need, and meets our commitment to our church's wider mission, which is OCWM. And in the past, a hand-style dinner, family-style dinner was served in the fellowship hall, and takeouts were from the shed. And now we only do takeouts from the shed, and that works out very well. COVID kind of put a damper on that, but everybody feels takeout is so much easier than serving in the dining room. And then we have mission trips. Picture in 2011 was Daniel Kleinhans, Pastor Kesting, and Tom Kleinhans. And then the picture of 2012 was Pastor Kesting and Dave Johnson. Pastor, do you remember where you went?
We went countless places. We were in Minot, North Dakota, Merrill, Wisconsin. We did several jobs, several weeks at Techola, the old renamed Pilgrim Center. And I'm missing a couple of them too.
Well,
Because
thank
we
you.
were very active in part of the disaster recovery of the United Church of Christ. We worked through them.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
this past trip, when they went to Ohio, 2 members of our church were Raymond Henschel and Carrie Langenhan, along with Pastor Schultz and his daughter Grace, and other members from St. Mark's. We move on to our crop walk. This started in 2005, and it was organized to fight against hunger. It's held the second Sunday in October, regardless of weather conditions. And we've been a participant from the very beginning. And the generosity of the congregation is a commitment to helping others outside of our church. And Doris Sprenger has been our faithful crop representative for many years. One of our pictures there. The first picture you saw was from 2012. And the last picture we have on screen right now is this year from 2023. And I'll just touch base on COVID and mention that it was a trying experience from 2020 to 2021, and I compliment our consistories and our pastor for striving through that situation, and we are so happy to have our doors be open again, that we can worship together. Now we have member recognition. And there's 2 people I would like to honor. And they are the oldest members of our congregation. And they are Fritz Krause and Carlene Sohn. And they are both 92. And I'd also like to recognize 4 couples who have been married 60 years plus. Milton and Laverne Whipperman. About 67 years. Alan and Amy Stolzen, 65 years. Dorothy and Bill Miller, 62 years. Charlie and Ruth Ann, 61 years. The sacrament of baptism is an outward and visible sign of God's grace. And I would like to share with you a few baptism pictures. The first one we have is Peyton Faith Beck. Her parents are Sarah Whipperman and Nicholas Beck. Grandparents are Rick and Donna Whipperman, and great-grandparents are Milton and Laverne Whipperman. Next we have, and I have difficulty pronouncing her name, Aubriana K. Peterson. Her parents are Andrew and Abigail Peterson. She's the granddaughter of Tanya Wasmer and the great-granddaughter of Carlene Sohn. And next we have Davy Lorraine Vogel. Her parents are Ashley Grodigrud and Gabe Vogel. Her grandmother is Kim Grodigrud, and her great-grandmother is Jolene Scheffler. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall have the light of life. And I'd also like to recognize Pastor Schultz. He preached his first sermon at St. James on January 13, 2019, and his installation service was held on March 31st, 2019, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at St. Mark's. And we're happy to have you as our pastor. Moving on a little bit with some church activities. In the summer of 2014, Dave and Jackie Miller honored and hosted a joint outdoor church service on their farm, and it was followed by a time of food and fellowship. Music was provided by Bill Surface, and the Cool Street Barbershop provided special music. In honor of Mother's Day in 2022 and 2023, some of the ladies wore hats to church, and this was a suggestion from Heidi Bayless. The first picture was in 2022, and then this one is from this year, 2023. And then we move on to Memorial Day. Each year on Memorial Day, by the American Legion Post 477 from St. Macy's, pays tribute to the armed forces. Flags are placed on the graves of our servicemen, and roll call is given, and tax is played. And we are grateful for that. We had an outdoor service this summer in July, and our guest speaker was Reverend Henning, and Ann Rodewald played the keyboard, and a pot luncheon was held. However, no pictures were shared. On 2023, a social committee was formed. And in August, we had a polka dance, and a potluck was held at the barn of Dan and Katie Kleinutz. But I wasn't able to get any pictures. Pastor does have a small video of some of the people dancing. And then we had girls' night out for Bunko. This was the first time we met, and then our group grew, and that's the second time we met. We also had a men's cornhole event this summer. I believe it was held in October, but I didn't get any pictures. So we're looking for more events and fun times in 2024. On October 19th, St. James hosted the 86th United Men and Women's Banquet and Scholarship Program for people pursuing a career in ministry. Volunteers assisted in the meal preparation, and the St. James Choir sang 3 anthems. And now I'd like to extend a thank you. I thank everyone who helped me gather information and pictures of our church history in compiling the displays in the narthex and down in the basement, along with refreshments for a time of fellowship. And I hope you all join us down in the basement. I know the Packers play at 12, but maybe you set up a video to record the game. And a special thank you to our church secretary, Karen, for scanning all the pictures, and to Pastor Patrick for putting together the PowerPoint presentation, and for doing the flicking for me today. Thank you. I'd like to address most topics. I tried to address most topics of our history and organizations, and I apologize if I missed anything. However, I did have a concern exceeding my allowed time frame, and I didn't want you to start looking at the clock. I would like to thank everyone on our present consistory and those who have served in the past. Please know your time and talents and accepting the responsibility and challenges in addressing all issues that come forth are greatly appreciated. Remember, you're not alone. Your church, St. James family, is here to help for every meeting. The settlers left their homeland mainly because of religious and political difficulties to seek freedom in the new land, America. It is most important in this ever-changing world where things are going on 24/7 that we consider and continue to keep God in our lives, in our homes, and give our children a Christian education. God and prayer are no longer part of our public school system. Teach by example, honor the 10 Commandments, live by the Golden Rule. In the fellowship of faith, we have come to know the Lord. Together with open hearts and open minds, we trust the Lord to guide us as we live, and the youth will carry on from generation to generation. The United States was founded on Christianity, and we must honor our forefathers and by keeping God in this country and in the pledge allegiance to the flag. God bless America, and God bless St. James.